These are my favorite photos I took on a recent coastal walk from Herne Bay to Whitstable with an unexpected but super beautiful sunset. Hi there and welcome to my new video. In today's video I would like to take you along with me on a day trip to Herne Bay and Whitstable. My friend Zino and I recently wanted to do a photography seaside day trip. So we brainstormed a few different locations, Hastings, Folkestone, but we both noticed that we've never been to Whitstable. So we decided, okay, let's take the opportunity and let's take the train to Whitstable. While planning our trip, we decided to not take the train directly to Whitstable, but get off the train at Herne Bay and then just walk from Herne Bay to Whitstable and head back from there. The walk from Herne Bay to Whitstable is about 5 miles. Super easy walk, mostly flat along the coast. You can't miss it. So yeah, we thought that sounds like a plan. The weather forecast, as expected probably here in the UK in the winter, was cloudy, rainy, not really good, but we said okay, we both want to do a seaside adventure, a seaside trip, so let's head to Herne Bay and Whitstable regardless of the weather forecast. After we took the train from London, Victoria to Herne Bay, we made our way straight from the train station to the seafront. And the weather, as expected and as forecasted, was a little bit rainy, super windy and super cold. I didn't expect that, to be honest. But yeah, still we made our way down to the seafront and we immediately noticed like the Herne Bay pier with like food stalls, amusement park things, rides and stuff like that, your typical UK seaside pier. And then there was like a little stone pier, I think it's called Neptune's Arm or something like that, like a little stone pier you can walk on and yeah, really nice. To get into that photography flow, I decided to load black and white film, Kentmere 200. It was so overcast, I thought it isn't really worth taking any color photos just yet, and I still hope the weather will get better later. With the Kentmere 200 loaded, I started taking a few photos of like that little cafe thing while we were making our way onto the stone pier. I also took a few, like warming up shots of like a little lifeguard booth, at least I think it is, and of a really cool barrier and sign with some wet foreground. I think that looked really cool and transported the mood of the day and the weather quite perfectly. With a few warm-up shots out of the way, we made our way onto that stone pier. I took a few photos also with the Pentax 17 because back then I thought the sky looked quite dramatic, but honestly it looks quite muddy overall. I think the light was just not good enough yet for Kodak Gold, to be honest. When we reached the end of the pier, it was so windy, salt water blasting basically into our faces, but I still decided to quickly take 2 photos with the RZ. They are okay, but after that I decided to pack the RZ away again to not get it completely soaked in salt water, which I think is generally a good idea for old medium format cameras. We then decided we need to get some lunch before heading to Whitstable, so we headed onto Herne Bay Pier. As mentioned, there are quite a few food stalls, so we decided to just sit there, relax for a while and get a salt beef bagel to get some energy and some motivation before heading on to the walk. And while we're heading to Herne Bay Pier, I took a few more photos of like a little cute cafe and also of the pier itself, and I quite like how they turned out. After getting some food, we then decided, okay, let's start the walk. The weather hopefully gets better, fingers crossed. But first, nope, it got worse. It started to rain slightly, not like a huge rain shower, but like, still not very pleasant. And the wind got stronger and stronger, and I quite struggled with taking photos and finding good compositions. I had a RZ packed away anyways. The scenery was beautiful, like that stretch of beach with all the beach huts looked really nice. But still still I struggled to find good compositions. And then I thought, okay, let's do a little challenge. So I thought like it's kind of funny what is going on in between those beach huts. Like there are chairs stored, little boats, surfboards or stuff like that. So I decided to create a few diptychs with the Pentax 17, and yeah, quite like how they turned out. We made our way along that beach section, just hoping that the weather will get better. And then the first real highlight of the day, or at least the highlight for me, came up. There's like a nice old pub directly at the seafront. You can see the pub, you can look inside the windows. There were like little sailboat miniatures in the windows. And then you had the sea in the background, the little shelter in the background. Then I thought this scene looked perfect, and I took a photo on Kentmere 200, and that was the first real highlight of the day. I love how it came out. I'm always drawn to these shelter things at the sea front, and I took a few photos again on Kentmere 200, all with the 50mm wide angle lens on the RZ, and I'm super happy with these scenes. And then a cool thing happened, the sun slightly, coming through the clouds, so I decided to load color film, and I loaded Lucky 200, and unfortunately that was a mistake that day. I previously shot like 3 rolls of Lucky 200 and I was super happy with the results, but something must have been off with those rolls. So as you can see in the photos, in this roll, and also unfortunately in the next roll I will show you, all of those photos had like weird, super weird colors. I wasn't able to correct them with my home scans. They still look off to me. There were like weird blotches of magenta cast, and overall I think that the roll just was messed up. So unfortunately I don't really like how this image came out, but yeah, you can't always win with film. Back then I didn't notice that Lucky won't come out, so I was quite happy with the weather turning to a sunny day, maybe. So we continued walking there. That next stretch was a bit of a boring stretch, not a lot of going on, but then we spotted there's like a little hill and you could walk up there, and there were like really beautiful houses overlooking the beach and the bay, and the light got really good that moment. So again, I took some photos on Lucky, especially of like the bench overlooking the sea, but again, the colors are just off. It looks weird, I don't know. Same thing, I took a photo of a really beautiful house. Colors are off, I don't know, I'm not happy with these. But yeah, luckily I still took a few photos on my Ricoh GR 3X, and I really like how these turned out. So I think the digital photos saved that moment. We were really lucky with the weather turning better, so we were really motivated to just keep on walking, keep on exploring. And again, there were like a lot of beautiful beach huts, and what back then I thought it would be my favorite moment of the day. The sun fully came through, looked very dramatic, the light looked absolutely amazing, and I spotted a few really, really beautiful, colorful beach huts. One had like a little door with a sun on it, and again, I already finished my first roll of Lucky, loaded the second roll of Lucky, and just took quite a lot of photos of these beach huts with that beautiful light. And again, colors off there, really weird lines, stripes, whatever on the negative. No idea how that happened. Again, I think, or I must assume, that something with that batch of Lucky. But yeah, luckily again, I took some photos with the Pentax 17, and again I took some digital photos, and I think these photos turned out really nice. I'm really happy with those. The light and the colorful beach huts, it just works. And yeah, with the Lucky roll messed up, I think I just need to go back there and explore there again. And also I found it quite interesting because it was the winter time, there weren't a lot of people around, it was super cold, and the beach huts were quite desolated, isolated, so that looked really nice. After that we headed to the location I was looking forward to that day, and I spotted that location on Google Street View before our trip. And this location is a oyster farm and an oyster restaurant. And the interesting thing is, this oyster farm and the beautiful beach huts, nice restaurant is directly opposite of a tarmac factory, and I kind of like that scenery, and I was really looking forward to that. So the first thing we did of course, heading into the restaurant, getting some really nice fish and chips for dinner, and it was, yeah, really good food. We were really happy. And while we were eating, we already saw out of the window that the light is getting better again. After we finished our fish and chips, we explored the area around it a little bit. I really liked all the details. There were like oyster shells all around. There were like beautiful beach huts, a lot of industrial meats, beautiful seafront. So I really liked that. So we spent some time there, exploring there, and directly outside of the restaurant there was like this oyster fishing boat, not sure how you call it, and there I finished my roll of Kentmere 200, and I used an ND filter for quite a few of these photos to isolate the fishing boat from the background, to have like an open aperture and get that background blur of the sea. And I think these photos, I took 3 or 4, they turned out really nice in my opinion again, and they just transport the vibe there, that fishing boat, that the beach, the sea in the background, the oyster shells in the foreground. Yeah, I really like that. I also found out the oyster farm there has quite a remarkable history. It seems that Whitstable oysters go back almost 2,000 years to Roman times, at least according to the Wikipedia article. And yeah, so that's quite fascinating. So it seems that it's like a really crucial part of Whitstable. The light got better minute by minute. And what's seen really caught my attention near the oyster restaurant was the beach huts in the foreground, the beautiful beach, and then in the background this tarmac factory. And again, I think the tarmac factory quite fascinating, built beside really that oyster farm. And again, I checked a little bit on the history. Apparently the tarmac factory is there since 1936 and it's still active. And again, I took a few more photos on Kentmere 200 there, again with an open aperture to get some isolation from the subjects. And again, I really liked how they came out. Then I decided I wanted to shoot color again because I was just hoping for a nice sunset, and luckily I didn't choose Lucky as another roll. I still had one roll with me, but I was going for CineStill 800T, and I think that was definitely the right call. Yeah, I loaded CineStill 800T and took a few warm-up shots again. At first the light I think wasn't quite there yet, but I still like how the photos came out. So we decided, okay, I've took already like 5 or 6 medium format photos there. We need to continue our way towards Whitstable and hoping that the weather and the light gets even better. On our way to Whitstable, I then took one more detailed photo of the tarmac factory and like one overview photo of the tarmac factory. And again, I really like how that came out, especially with the puddle in the foreground and you see the reflection of the factory in the background. Really like that. So that was definitely worth the photo. Then we ended up in the harbor from Whitstable, and that's when the light got incredible. I took a few photos of that fishing boat with the tarmac factory in the background, and the light was really hitting the factory and the fishing boat. And I think that red fishing boat that really pops the light is so good, and I think CineStill 800T works perfectly for that. I'm super happy with it. Really works really well, and I think this is also where the 6.7 film really shines. The frame is incredibly busy. There is so much going on, so many details, and I think that's perfect for 6x7. Even would have been even cooler on like 4x5, maybe sometime in the future. But that was just an incredible scene, and I like going back to these photos, zoom in and just seeing what is going on in these frames. And there's so much to discover on the factory, on the boat going on, like seagulls flying through the frame. Yeah, super happy with these. And I quite experimented a while with different compositions, different framings, and yeah, super happy with how these came out. Definitely some of my favorite photos from this seaside trip. From that moment I knew, okay, that seaside trip was totally worth it definitely I will come back with some really nice images. But to my surprise, that one wasn't even the best part. We then continued walking around the harbor, and that's where I spotted my favorite scene. And that's like a building on the left hand side and then the tarmac factory in the background. And I don't know why I had to take it through a fence, that photo, but I don't know, it just works in my opinion, and it looks beautiful. I stayed there for a while, taking quite a few photos on the CineStill 800T, finished the first roll, and these are probably my favorite photos of the whole trip, of that whole evening. Also took again some digital photos on the Ricoh, turned out great as well in my opinion. But I also want to take a few other sunset photos, so we headed down to the beach and I took some, people would call it cliche photos of a beautiful sunset. But the thing with sunsets at the beach is every sunset looks different. It is just beautiful. I know it's cliche and some people roll their eyes and say, why do you take these cliche photos? They just look nice, they don't tell a story. But in my opinion, they are part of a seaside trip, they are part of the seaside, and I think they are worth taking photos of, and I really like them. And I think they are part of the story, they are part of the day. Of course, took also some digital photos of it, and yeah, all of these photos, they just turned out really nice, and I'm really happy with it. And when we started our walk in Herne Bay with really bad weather, we couldn't believe that, yeah, it gets any better that day. But yeah, we got really lucky. For finishing the roll of 800T, I had exactly one frame left. So I thought I'd take another photo of my favorite scene with that house and the tarmac factory in the background. And again, I have no idea what happened. It just looks a bit odd. The roll before was fine, the roll afterward in that back was fine. So I have no idea what happened there. And also the whole roll of CineStill 800T, the second roll had some light leaks. Not sure how they got on there. I guess again it's something with the film probably, so I wasn't really lucky on that day regarding my film, but I don't really mind the light leaks on those. I even think, to be honest, they look quite cool. They are quite subtle, they're not like all over the image, and I don't mind how they came out, and I even think they add something interesting to these scenes. And yeah, so I'm not mad about these light leaks in comparison to how my Lucky came out, unfortunately. After taking that last shot, I decided to not load another roll. I didn't have a tripod with me, and yeah, it got really dark, so there was no point of loading another roll of CineStill 800T, to be honest. So I mainly stick to using my Ricoh GR3X for like that last light blue hour time. We decided it's time to head back to London, so yeah, we slowly walked from the harbour to the Whitstable train station. And along the way I just took a few more snapshots with the digital Ricoh. And yeah, I quite like the photos where I have the reflection of the last remaining light in the windows, and I think these turned out really cool. And also the city center, or like the high street of Whitstable, I really like that. It's really cute and nice vibes there. Also the vibe in Whitstable was quite nice. People all around eating fish and chips at the seafront, and yeah, you can't really beat eating fish and chips directly at the sea. Can't beat that feeling. So that was a really nice surprise, and I definitely wanna go back to Whitstable really soon. That seaside trip with Zino was absolutely amazing. Had a great day out. It's always good to head to the seaside, explore there, explore some new areas. So I'm more than happy with that day. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching the video, especially if you made it till the end. It's probably gonna be a kind of a longer video, which I'm aiming for, because I personally myself enjoying watching these longer format, slower paced videos, and that's what I'm aiming for. One last thing at the end of the video. I just released my second self-published scene from a 3-day trip last year to Fuji Yoshida, Japan. And it's a collection of 36 photos, all taken within the boundaries of Fuji Yoshida. They feature like more kind of everyday scenes around the city, but they also feature some stunning, postcard scenes of Mount Fuji. I'm incredibly proud of this little scene, and if you're interested, head to the link below to my online shop. You can grab it. You can grab your copy on a pay what you want basis. So yeah, it is greatly appreciated if you would check this out, maybe get a copy or just spread the word. Incredibly proud of it. And yeah, so that's for the video. That's the trip to Herne Bay and Whitstable, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you. Bye bye. Cheers.